Hello everybody, this is City Scrapper. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. Today I'm back with day 7 for Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches, Series 7. For today's layout, I am going to be using an older picture that my daughter took of New York City, and in order to scrap that picture, I pulled out some older pads. Today I'm using the Downtown Loft stack and Treasures, that's another stack. They're both made by Die Cuts with a View, and they're definitely on the older side. You can see that I've cut out some letters from one of the sheets, and I also already fussy cut out the skyline. And I just made a minor adjustment to the skyline because I thought that the building that's slightly to the left of center, that would have to be the Empire State Building. So I made all the other buildings a little shorter than that building. So here I am mounting my picture. I'm mounting on a piece of black cardstock, and I cut that cardstock down to size, and now I'm mounting it on one of the pattern papers. I also picked out that yellow brick pattern that's on the bottom. I thought that looked really nice with the background paper. That blue background paper is actually a map of New York City, and I thought that was cool, but I mainly picked it for its color. I thought that the yellow and the blue and then all those letters, I thought that it all went really well together. Then with the black skyline, I thought that was a great combination. I love these die cut with a view pads that have a lot of laminating on them. You could see, because it's so shiny, that the skyline is laminated and those letters have like a laminated quality to them. So I do like that a lot about some of the older pads. Now I'm going in with some adhesive foam, and I'm just going to pop up my picture a little bit. You can see that in the sketch there's a really huge title, and my title isn't going to be quite as large, but I thought that the skyline would kind of serve as that very large element in the background. I am using a little ink pad to ink the edges of all of these letters, and I cut some of that footage out because it's repetitive, but I inked the edges and a little bit of the tops of each of those letters, and then I'm just letting them dry because I use the ink pad and sometimes that can make a mess. So I'm making sure that they're dry before I put them onto the layout. In the meantime, I'm working on that bottom yellow brick section of the layout. I thought it would be kind of cool to cover it with a bunch of street signs, and there were some that could be cut out of some of the pattern papers. There were also some license plates. Now, these are definitely not New York license plates, but they were black, and I liked them, so I included them. I thought that it would be good to have some black on the bottom because there'll be some black with the letters on the top. There's the black in the center, and then there should be a little bit of black on the bottom. I just used my Sharpie to fix a little spot on the skyline that was white because that torn slightly when I went around that curve to cut it out. And now I'm just arranging the letters, just trying to fit that title up there. It fits fine, but I just wanted to make sure that there was enough room for spacing. I do overlap the letters a little bit. I like the way that looks, and then it also allows for there to be the correct spacing of the words, so there's enough room between each word that it's clearly readable. So now I'm just going in with the ATG adhesive and attaching those down to the background. And at a certain point, I realized that I didn't have them spaced so perfectly. I forgot that that blue piece of paper is not one of the laminated pieces of paper. And actually, when I pulled up some of those letters to reposition them, the paper did rip. Luckily, I was able to cover everything up, and it didn't turn out to be too much of a problem, but the laminated papers, as you probably know, they don't rip so easily when you pull things off of them. But it all worked out in the end, so that's all that matters. I had another piece just in case. And now I am bending the antenna from that Empire State Building. See that? I have to attach that down a little bit better. You can see there that the paper ripped. So that's okay because The end does end up covering up the rip in the blue paper. The title I feel like is pretty much done. Now I'm going to the bottom part of the layout and I'm just attaching down those items that I've already selected. And I'm just trying to scatter them so that they look balanced. I am going to add more to that, but I wanted there to be balanced, so I made the 2 black ones on a diagonal and then the 2 white backgrounds on a diagonal. And now I'm going in with some chipboard clouds. I remembered that I had some of these in my stash, so I pulled them out. They're made of chipboard and corrugated cardboard, and I thought it was a kind of a cool combination. But I cut the corrugated ones in half so that they would look similar to the chipboard ones. And the chipboard ones are white, and there's some that look a little more yellow. So I tried to use different colors, and then there were also a lot of different sizes, so I used a couple of different sizes. So I spread those out and attach them down with the ATG adhesive. I can't recall where I got either the chipboard or the corrugated cardboard clouds from. I know I've had them in my stash for a very long time, and I do keep things around for a long time. I don't tend to get rid of things because if I buy something, it's usually because I really like it. I've tried to stop buying things just because they're on sale. And so I knew sooner or later that they would find a home on a layout. So it always feels good to use up something that you purchased a long time ago and haven't found a use for. And I do spend a pretty decent amount of time arranging the clouds and layering them. I don't want any of those 3 clusters that I have there with the corrugated clouds. I don't want them to look exactly alike. So I did try to vary the layering and the positioning of the clouds a little bit so that each one would be unique. And I thought it would look kind of cute to put some clouds between the buildings. Some of the buildings there are extremely high, and I could see there being clouds that low. Here I am adding a couple more street signs to the bottom. The street signs had little pictures of the Statue of Liberty on the edge of them, and I think that sometimes Statue of Liberty and Manhattan seem to get lumped together, but that would be for another layout. So I cut the Statue of Liberty off the end. I added that little taxi sticker. And I'm just looking through all of the New York City sticker packs that I've collected over the years. And I'm looking for street signs and just little iconic bits that represent the city. I liked that little pretzel there, which I end up moving in the end. And I also liked that manhole cover. And you'll see that again. So now I'm going back into the papers. And this is another pad. This is called City Maps. And in City Maps, I saw these cute little hearts. And I thought these would be perfect to sprinkle around the layout. I cut out 3 of them from that paper. And here I am just fussy cutting them out. And I'm just going to pick a few spots on the layout where I thought that they would look best. I decided that I didn't like that one particular heart that I had cut out. I decided that there was a better one to use on the layout. So I put the one I'd already cut out aside and substituted this new one. And I moved that one heart because I wanted the 3 hearts to make a visual triangle. Now I'm going in and just taking out a couple of those clouds. I think I kind of overdid it, so I do remove some of them. I'm attaching down the hearts. And now I'm going to go back in with a one-way sign. I thought that this would be perfect because there's already a lot of green on the bottom. Not too much, but there's touches of green, so this isn't introducing a new color. So I layer that with the street sign down at the bottom. First, I do cut off the little bit of border that's still left on there, and then I just attach everything down. And then the bottom of the layout is complete. I go back and add some metal photo corners from American Crafts. These are pretty much a huge stash dive. I've had them for a long time. And now I'm going back in with an enamel dot, and I'm adding an enamel dot in black to each of the hearts. And that completes the layout, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please check out all the other YouTubers who are sharing their take on this sketch. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you to all my subscribers. I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.